Hi there, it's Jennifer, and I'm here today to do another video in my series on long distance walking. I have been doing videos in this series since probably February of 2015. Wait, weird hair. Okay, then I kind of stopped in the last few months because I sort of started running out of things to say, but now we're getting up to some of those races that I'm going to be doing, and I'm really thinking not just about training, but about the races themselves and preparing myself for the races. I do have a race. Well, I'm filming this on the Monday after Thanksgiving, and this coming Sunday, it will be the day this video is actually uploaded, or that you guys get to see it. I'm doing a 15K, which is 9.3 miles. This is going to be in the Scottsdale area. And so we'll be driving, my training buddies and I will be driving down to do that race. Now, it's kind of an interesting thing. We're doing 9.3 for the race, right? 15K. But we are also training to walk a full marathon in January. And so we are increasing our mileage, and we really need to get an 18 miler in. The weather in Scottsdale, I think the high that day is supposed to be 64. Here in Flagstaff at 10 o'clock this morning, it was 25. So to get 18 miles in down there sounds really nice. So what we're planning to do is we're going to do the race, 9.3 miles, get our medal, you know, whatever stuff they hand us, water bottle, all this stuff at the end, and then at the end of the race, they're going to hand us a bunch of chocolate goodies too, because it's the hot chocolate 15K. Then we're going to walk to our car and dump all that stuff off and go out for 9 more miles so we can get 18 miles in for that day, and then we'll drive back to Flagstaff. Okay, so as I'm getting ready for this upcoming weekend, I'm thinking about what to bring with me. And so if you have never done a race before, or maybe you haven't done one that's for a very long distance, you have to kind of think about some stuff to bring along with you. Some people, now if you're a fast runner, and if you're a fast runner, you're probably not watching this video, but if you're a fast runner, usually the race course provides pretty much everything you need, just because you're not out there for very long. But when you're a walker, you're out on the course for a longer period of time, and so it's a good idea to bring some of your own stuff with you. So, okay, I always wear a hydration belt, and it has 4 8-ounce bottles. I usually put sports drink in one of the bottles, and then, or maybe 2. Well, actually, for a 15K, I'm just going to put sports drink in one bottle, and then I put water in the other 3. The reason I bring my own sports drink is that I did a race. It was the very first half marathon I ever did, and they actually ran out of sports drink on the course. So at every station we went to along the whole race, there would be water, but there would be no sports drink, which is really bad because you have to have electrolyte replacement, especially for walkers who are out there on the course twice as long, maybe more, than some of the runners. And it wasn't until we reached the 11th mile that there was a station that had sports drink, and you know, that's just dangerous. So well, I wrote a letter to the race, the people who sponsored the race, and they actually got back to me and said thank you for the feedback, and I've done that race in the past, or since then, and I've never once had them run out of that since then. But I thought, you know what, I don't want to take my chances, so I always bring my own. So I wear a hydration belt. I will be bringing water and a little bit of sports drink. You also want to make sure that whatever sports drink is on the course, if you decide to drink what they're serving on the course, you need to make sure you've tried it before, because sometimes they can give you stomach issues or whatever. You don't want to take your chances on that. So make sure that if you do plan to drink what they provide for you, that you have had that before. Okay, so what else besides water and sports drink? I also bring some kind of electrolyte replacement that I can eat. Like what I love to have is the Jelly Belly, what do they call them? Sport beans. And it's just a little bag of jelly beans. And if you ate one when you're not exercising, you would think it tasted salty. But when you have it when you're out there and you need to replenish your salt in your body, it doesn't taste like salt. It just tastes like a really yummy Jelly Belly. So I'll be taking 1 packet for this race. Now, when I do my upcoming full marathon, I will be taking 2 of those with me so I can have them at different points in the race. But for this one, I'll be taking 1. You can also take things like shot blocks, or GU has, a company called GU has GU chomps, and they're sort of like, I don't know, what are those things called? Like kind of like gumdrops sort of things. And yeah, you want to make sure after you eat those though that you have a nice, you know, gulp or several gulps of water, because you don't want that stuff to just sit in your stomach like a brick. You want it to dissolve so it does some good for you. So you need to follow your beans or chomps or shot blocks with water. All right, the other thing that I bring is, I'm not bringing it for the 15K, but I bring it for a half marathon, and I will bring 2 for the full marathon, and that is a packet of energy gel. There's one brand that is GU, G-U, and that's probably the most well-known version of this stuff. And then I think, is it Power Bar that has an energy gel? It's a packet that sort of has a consistency of like pudding. And some people just sort of think, oh, that sounds so disgusting. Some of my friends who've said that it sounded disgusting, I say, just try it. If you don't like, just take 1 taste. If you don't like it, you don't have to finish it. And they all go, huh, this isn't that bad. So it's really nice because it has a blast of carbs in it for you. It does have some electrolyte replacement in it. And it's really good idea to make sure that you're thinking ahead to when you're gonna need it. You don't wanna wait till you need energy to get out one of your energy gels. You want to think, okay, if I'm going to be needing energy at about the 7th mile, then I'm going to need to eat this at the 5th mile. Usually for me, I probably need it around the 9th mile, so I would have it at the 7th mile, which is why I'm not going to take it with me on this race, because by the time I would get a kick from that energy, the race is going to be over. However, since we're going on to do 9 more miles, I'll be having some of that, you know, on that second part of our little trek that we're doing. Okay, another thing that I bring along is these things called, well, what are they called? There's different brands of them. They're salt magnesium pills. They have other stuff in them too, but they do have salt and they do have magnesium, which helps for a lot of things, but the thing that it really helps me with is if I start to get aches in the backs of my knees, or even the muscles in my thighs or my butt or anything that can start to get achy when you're out there for a long time. Now, for a race that's only 9.3 miles, a 15K, I will not be needing salt magnesium pills for that, except when my friend and I continue to go on for a longer distance. But for a half marathon or a full marathon, I definitely bring those along. And I usually get pains on the back of my knees, probably starting around the 9th mile. So about 30 minutes before that, so around the 7th mile is when I would take those, so that by the time I hit the 9th mile, it's kicking in and then I don't have to experience the aching on the backs of my knees. Let's see. Also, I bring along a chafing cream. Now I use this stuff called Body Glide as I'm getting ready for a race. And it looks like a deodorant stick. And you put it in places where you might chafe. So you can put it on your feet and in between your toes and all over so you don't blister. You can put it, I always put it around where my sports bra is. So all around here, underneath here, all under here. I also put it up here and on the skin down here because I have some chub in these places and my skin rubs, you know, back and forth against itself. So I put the Body Glide there so that I don't end up with sore places, because I've done long distances before and not used that. It is not comfortable. You keep taking your shirt and trying to hike it up as high as you can so that the skin on your arm and here under your arm is, you know, it's not rubbing together. So the best thing to do though is to use Glide, and usually that's all you need. But depending on how much you're going to be sweating, sometimes that stuff rubs off and then you start to feel a little hot spot and you don't want to let it go. You want to take care of it as quickly as possible. So I got these things called, it's a chamois. I'm going to link in the space below some a video that I did that talked about different things that you should use for comfort when you're out walking long distances. And it's called like a chamois butter, I think is what it's called, and there are little individual packets of it that I take with me, and then that way I can just kind of pop it open and put a little bit on, you know, on my finger and rub it wherever I feel like I'm chafing. So yeah, so I bring that along, and then the last thing I would say, let's see, Band-Aids. You know, I have to say that even though it's probably a good idea to bring along Band-Aids, they do tend to just kind of roll off, because if you're putting them on your feet, then the sock and your shoe and all that can make them rub off. But, you know, better safe than sorry. At least you can have some comfort for yourself for a little time if you happen to rub a blister. I also bring something for my lips, like a chapstick or you know, just something to, if your lips start to feel dry. Really good, of course, to put on sunscreen before you go, and then have some lip stuff with you. Okay, I always carry my phone with me. You know, if I happen to be doing a race by myself, I listen to music or listen to an audiobook while I'm walking. I'll be with friends this time, so I won't be doing that, but I always have my phone with me just in case. And then I also bring Kleenex along, a good supply of it for a couple of reasons. One is you tend to, especially if it's chilly on that day, you tend to sometimes get a runny nose, and so just so you have some Kleenex on hand. And then if you're doing a really long distance, it's not a bad idea to have some Kleenex on hand in case you have to make a potty stop behind a bush. At least you have some tissue with you. And the final thing that I bring along with me, I think the final thing, is that I wear a sports watch. It's a GPS sports watch, and I make sure that I charge that all up the night before, and that way I can gauge my distance and my pace and my overall time. You don't have to have one of those. I just know that for me, it helps me to work on my pace. This particular race we're doing this weekend is one that has a pretty tight time limit, and so we have to make sure that we are hauling the whole time. As walkers, you know, the runners are going to finish in time, but the walkers, you know, we have to make sure that we are going at a fast enough pace that they don't say, sorry, get in the truck, we're taking it to the finish line because you're too slow. So it's a good idea to have that. So those are the things I'm going to be bringing with me when I do my race, and when I do my full marathon, I'll just be bringing like twice the stuff I'm going to be consuming. And yeah, so I hope that was helpful. Now, if you're going to be doing something like a 5K, 3.1 miles, you probably don't have to worry about bringing all that kind of stuff with you. 10K, you might want to, it just depends on what they're providing on the race course. But definitely if you're doing, you know, like what I'm doing, 9.3, or if you're doing a half marathon, 13.1, or any longer distance than that, you need to make sure that you're bringing along stuff that will help you to do the race, do it comfortably, and to stay healthy while you're doing it. So hopefully this is helpful, and I will be back. Let's see, what is my next, I'm looking at my computer here. What is my next video? I actually only have 3 more videos in this series. I've been doing it almost a whole year, and so only 3 more from what I can tell. I have one video coming up at the beginning of January that's talking about how to prepare yourself the night before and the day of a long race. And then I will have another one that'll be in the middle of January or somewhere around there that will be a vlog of the full marathon that we're going to be doing. And then I have another one that's coming up at the end of January that will be talking about what to do after a race, to do or not to do after a race, as well as post-race training, because you need to kind of keep going, but you also don't want to overdo it and, you know, pull a muscle or anything like that. So I will be talking about that, and that'll be the wrap up for the series. So hopefully this has been helpful for you. If you have any questions, I mean, I'm not a professional. I've just done a whole lot of races, but I can point you in the right direction if you have some questions, so feel free to comment in the space below. Also, if you're not subscribed to my channel, hit that button. YouTube will let you know when I upload new videos about all different kinds of things, organizational projects, makeup, all kinds of stuff. I upload things several times a week. Hope you'll come along with me on Busy Being Jen, and we'll see you guys again. Take care. Bye-bye.